Hey onions, and welcome back to Unbelievable in Kalgoorlie. Before I tell you where we are today, I'd like to thank all my subscribers and viewers of my channel and for your continued support. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here right now. So a massive thanks to all you unbelievable people.
Cool kids.
So today we are at Lakedouglas in Kalgoorlie. Check our beautiful weather and this beautiful water. I suppose beggars can't really be choosers, but to us Kalgoorlians this is beauty right here in our backyard. Lakedouglas. So Lakedouglas is our local well-known waterhole, which is also known as the local recreation area where, you know, there is water and we can bring our water toys and our dirt toys and enjoy it. We've had a little bit of rainfall, which is why we do have a little bit of water in here. It has been better than this, but at the moment, you know, beggars can't be choosers, like I said, and any water is still better than no water. So I also quickly wanted to show you my new t-shirt from Salty Fish Shows. I now have a matching t-shirt with Ruka. Thank you, Jimmy from Salty Fish Shows, for sending me out one. We are here at this lake doing our local fishing. Got our fisherman over there who's put his own top on, maybe it's in the wash, and pulling in the yabbies. So we're wearing our shirts representing. Oh wow.
Really big claws too.
That's a good one.
You're gonna catch your brother.
Got a monster. You can turn it sort of like, yep, rolls this and upwards. Big muddy thing. So some other things that people get up to is they bring it out their dirt bikes, and you can see a little kid over there with their dirt bike. It's the cutest little thing. We also like coming out here to do our barbecues and our picnics and our little day trips. Camping, there's a beautiful camping spot out on the lake just towards behind me over that ways. And with fire pits, toilets, there's a dumping zone as well for your camp toilets. And when the water is a little bit fuller, we have actually enjoyed swimming in here as well. Like, we're on a really, really hot day. Any water is better than no water, like I said, and we do go in for a little dip as well. If you don't believe me, just ask my friend Hayley, who came here once with us, and it wasn't just swimming, it was also a little bit of drowning and falling out of kayaks and everything as well. So it's always a fun day to come out with the family. As I've repeatedly mentioned, Kal has been a great place for my family and myself, and although there is no white sand or blue waves, it is still a nice place for us to come out for an afternoon and enjoy some quality time together. It's awesome. Now on to some more information for my fellow Kiwis living in Australia applying for their PR. So at the time of the application, you're expected to pay 20% of the total fee. So at the moment, the first person costs $4,115, and usually the second person is about half that cost, and then the children is half of that cost again. So when we applied for it, it was around the $4,050 mark, I think. It has gone up now, and it's only been a year. And then therefore the second person was $2,000 and the children were $1,000 each. So it's so noisy because there's lots of lights. And actually it's noisy because it's and they think that, whoa, holy moly. Don't be silly. They think they're pretty cool. So back to it. So it's around 2 to 3 weeks where you'll get a received email to confirm that they have received your application. At the same time, what they do is then they issue out a bridging visa, which doesn't really apply to us because we are already granted an SCV visa, which allows us to work here and everything as usual anyway. So at around 1 to 2 months, a notice to get medicals are on your IMI account portal. So they do not email this out to you, so you will need to remember to regularly check your IMI account for updates. So in total, the minimum process time is 18 months, but most of the applications are processed at around 24 months, according to their processing time stated on their website. So now with that information, I wanted to explain and share with you today the process of booking your medical check and what is involved when going through that process. So the website that you go to is on Google. You just Google the Bupa medical visas. Only Bupa is able to book your medical checks. Everything goes through this website. So you will notice that in your IMI account, they have stated on there that you need to complete your medical check. They would also have on there, as you click on your name, you will notice that there is a form that you are expected to print off and take with you to your medical check location. So please make sure you print that off before you go to your appointment. Together with your form that you printed off from your IMI account, you also need to make sure that you remember to take your passport, your Medicare card, as well as your driver's license for all proof of ID, and for them to make sure that they are doing medical checks on the correct people. As you can see, as I'm going through the booking website here, because I live in Kalgoorlie, I had to select and enter in the postcode that applies for me. And within the Kalgoorlie region, sorry about the flies, it's good old outback here. So because in the Kalgoorlie area, Trinity Medical Centre is the only place that does the medical checks. So further on the booking page, you also need to select what date is going to work for you and the time. So usually the time starts at, I think there's usually only 2 times that are available. It is 9:30 or 10:30 according to what I have seen and I've booked for my family. They like to do them in the morning because they do take a bit of time. I do recommend for you to take the morning off work if you work, because it takes a pretty long time. The wait time, it was pretty long, as well as the process of them going through each of the different checks as well. We had to wait within the nursing area as well to make sure that things were getting done and they were ticking off the boxes going through the checklist. So I do recommend. It took about 2 to 3 hours, but I did have my 2 kids with me, so there was 3 of us getting processed at the same time, which meant that it did take a little bit long. But I think as well though, normally they do recommend you take 2 hours to complete the medical check. So just keep that in mind when you do book it, that you are able to take that time off to at least be there for the whole morning. So the medical actually consists of, and it all depends I think as to what you are required to do, which is mentioned on that form that you get off the IMI account. It does state exactly specifically what tests you need. So for myself and my family, we needed to get the general medical examination as well as a chest x-ray and an HIV blood test, which is interesting because I've lived here for 10 years and I've never had to give them any blood to prove that I am any HIV positive or negative. So it's quite interesting that they just need this to grant me a permanent residency, but that was part of my requirements. So the medical itself actually consists of a urine sample, blood tests for the HIV and eye tests, and the general health consists of the balance, like they got us to do some balance exercises and hearing exercises, eyes and reflexes, and that was pretty much it. That took 2 hours. So for this part of the medical check, so the medical examination, that actually costs $303. It is a lot of money, but it is private, so it comes out of pocket. There is no way for you to get reimbursed or any claiming on that. You can't claim any care of that either because it is for your own. Yeah, I suppose it's something that you do not need to have, but if you choose to do it, you do have to pay for it out of pocket. So that was $303.10 was what we paid per person. So after the medical check at the GP at Trinity is where we got it done. So after that they printed off another form for us, and they did take a photo of us as well to put on the form. And they gave us this form and we had to take it to the hospital across the road to the x-ray imaging area and to get our chest x-rays. Again, the wait was probably longer than the actual process itself. The actual chest x-ray I think took 2 minutes each, if that. And came out and we just didn't have to do anything else, and an invoice gets sent out to bill you for that. Again, it's private cost, even though the x-ray was done publicly at the public hospital, it is still a private cost on you. I do remember that it was around that $300 mark as well. So for your medical examination, put aside around that $600 each. And it does all depend on how much more you need to get done or how much less you have to get done. So Kaylin, because she was only 13, she did not have to get her HIV blood test. So her one only cost $246 for her GP medical check. But the rest of us got $303, and then the chest x-ray was all the same, around that $300 mark. So that's sort of the cost as to what you're looking at for when you're doing the medical checks. So after the medical checks are done and the x-ray is done, you pretty much walk out of there, you've ticked your box, you've done what you need to do, you've paid what you had to pay for, and then you go into your IMI account, and just keep checking for updates. You will notice that once the hospital and the GP has lodged your medical examination, then it will say on your IMI account that it is completed, all done, and pretty much you're just waiting for the next steps. So just a quick recap, just to remind you that when you go to the GP for your medical examination, you are expected to pay that bill immediately. So make sure that you take your EFTPOS card or credit card to pay that immediately. Whereas when you go and get your x-ray done at the public hospital, they will take your details down and they will send an invoice via email to you. I think you are able to request it through post as well. Okay, so there you have it, a little bit about Kalgoorlie and a lot of information. And upwards, big muddy thing. She's ditching, she's going. Go, Georgia, go, make him run. What? Go, do it.
Emotional, damn it.
What did I just cause? I created Oh my god! Can we stop destroying my Easter egg? God, oh my gosh, my Easter egg! I hope you've enjoyed joining in with my fun family time today and seeing what we get up to in Kalgoorlie. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. Yes, Unbelievable in Kalgoorlie is now on Instagram. Don't forget to also subscribe if you are a fellow Kiwi living here in Australia and you need further information on how to apply for permanent residency and further applications for anything else that I may be going through as well. Please continue to be unbelievable, and I will see you in my next video. See you later.